Okay, so that break right there, that had us up stretching, doing our mid-afternoon workout. We are back with part 2 of the 1970s from Mirami-histor-chi. Welcome to Roger Cummo's basement. He's the local historian on the Miramichi. He's one of he's a guy that has documented decades and decades of local history through mainly newspaper clippings, pamphlets, brochures, what have you. And I'm the nephew. He's my dad's brother, Raj. I'm home from Vancouver for a few months following the passing of my dad, and we're spending some time together. It's been an important project for me, as I not only get to spend time with Raj, but we're trying to we're honoring actually Raj's lifetime of collection of local history, but we're also just doing it as a positive. As times have changed so much, we don't want to be the type of people that are saying, oh, kids nowadays and times have changed, which they have, but we're just trying to, we recognize that kids, you can't blame children for the way things go. It's parents that are raising them, it's societies that raise them. We're just trying to go back and show in a healthy way what times were like on the Miramichi, with some interesting newspaper clippings from Raj's collection, and we're back with some more stuff from the 1970s.
Two sad stories.
Two sad stories, okay. And this is all kind of coming at me. I'm unprepared. Raj kind of went through them quickly before we went, so it's all good for me to learn it for the first time sometimes too. So
when I found this quite a few years ago,
yeah,
I decided to make copies for the family.
Okay.
Especially all boys, eh?
Okay.
So this is my grandfather's brother, Melbourne Cummo, that passed away when his, that's a better picture than...
Is this the grandfather from your mom's side?
No, this is
Romeo's?
Melbourne from
your...
Donnie and Wayne Cummo now, the father.
Right.
Just next to the Raymond McGraw's house.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the extensively damaged house where Melbourne Cummo died in last week's fire. So an autopsy report is awaited in death of Melbourne Cummo, Logieville fire fatality, and that was in 1978?
Yeah.
So there's a little house, guy that, do you know what this guy did for a living, Raj? That was Roger's grandfather's brother. He died in a fire. He was only 52 years old. Mm-hmm. And the victim's badly burned body was found lying on the floor near the remains of a Chesterfield. And for those young people out there, a Chesterfield was often referred to as a couch or a sofa.
The boys are here.
Okay. He is survived by his mother, his wife, the former Elise Robichaud, 5 sons, Edward, Donald, Stephen, Daniel, and Wayne. 2 brothers, Henry and Lawrence, both of Logieville. Now, Henry would be my great-grandfather. I used to go in and deliver the papers there, and he had no clue who I was. He'd be like, "Who are you?" But it was a great spot. It was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so there's a sad story from Rogers, not only local Miramichi history, but our personal history. This is a nice sparkling water, lime flavored, and it just feels nice in the. It's like hot. It's like the temperature today, Raj.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be talking weather, but my God, this is the most mild, and there's no snow, and it's almost like I saw people at the beach today with their shirts off playing beach volleyball down at Middle Island.
So this is the other sad story that happened in '74 off the Marcy Bridge in Chadburden, Chatham Head. Okay, so this is from 1974.
A vicious 1974 murder case cold, but not closed. So they never were able to determine the murderer. And that woman right there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Redmond. This is Redmond.
This is, I'm sorry if this brings up any bad news for anybody out there, but we're telling the real history here. We're just coming through some newspaper clippings. Mary Beatrice Redmond, and she was murdered. Police attend to the scene of a murder outside a home on Bridge Street in Chatham Head in March 1974. Vicious, there were rumors that it was a younger Alan Legier in 1974 that did that, but nobody could prove that.
So the morning of that happened, the police called Bernie Key.
Okay.
Because Bernie's wife was the daughter of this lady.
Oh, so okay, so Mr. Keating, he was my middle school principal. His wife was the daughter of the person murdered. I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, it's all in the story here.
It's all in the story.
Her other daughter was in Ontario, and when she came home, they only told her what happened when she got home.
Okay.
Not make her trip home.
A bloody shame, folks. Human nature. Human nature, there's so many good aspects. But with those good aspects, there's, like each person has to deal with their good and bad side, and some people it goes way too far, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, this is a sign put together by Stephen Jardine, which was eventually turned out to be our mall across
the
river.
shopping mall. Northumberland Square, opening spring 1979. That is the map. The Kmart on the western side, and this is the Bay, which I think turned into Zellers. And all those little units were little stores along the mall. And for anybody on the Miramichi that remembers the heyday in the 80s, you'd be able to go over to the mall, hang out. We were reminiscing the other day, like my family over there, and we were trying to remember all the stores and try to name them. With construction well underway at the shopping center in Douglastown and opening scheduled for next spring, a name has been unveiled to the Miramichi public. The center will be called Northumberland Square, as noted on the new sign, which was painted by Stephen Jardine of Chatham. That's Stephen standing beside his latest creation. And I'll tell you what, there's Stephen Jardine. Must have been an artist or whatever. And there's a great photo of a young guy doing some work on the new shopping mall, which I remember as a kid I went over there and watched some breakdancers from Toronto. Yeah. Out in the hallway, doing some the worm and some back spins and everything else.
There's just a few little items I've noticed of all these interesting articles on this page, and I circled this one, and then you can read these two here.
Okay. The Miramichi Agricultural Exhibition Association.
Just one side.
So CB Jamboree over. Okay, so Tigers on top. The Chatham Head Tigers won the first annual Miramichi Valley Baseball League Old Timer Tournament on the weekend, and Ted Williams put the tourney on the right track for years to come.
1977.
1977. The Chatham Head Baseball, the Chatham Head Tigers, they have a rich tradition up there too, right? In the whole Old Timers baseball program. I am very ignorant and not well versed in what goes on there, but I keep hearing Chatham Head Tigers.
They got a wicked ball field.
And they got a beautiful ballpark.
Yeah, you got the lights there now.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ballpark. Okay, so Chatham boys to Newfoundland for Canada Games. Durrell to trial. Yvon Durrell, the fighting fisherman from Bay St. Anne, will be tried on a charge of second-degree murder in Newcastle, September 12th. So he's a Bay St. Anne fisherman. He used to box. He was a local legend. When you go to Bay St. Anne, you see a sign saying home of Yvon Durrell. Now, I don't know much about Raj. That's 1977. Whatever came of that? He was found guilty or not guilty?
Oh, yeah, Frank McKenna was his lawyer.
Oh, wow.
And
not guilty?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Okay, the fighting fishermen, folks. Ball players to Newfoundland. 4 Chatham ball players have been chosen as members of the New Brunswick Junior All-Stars competing in this year's Summer Games in St. John's, Newfoundland. They are Walter McCarthy, episode 2, if you want to see his wedding photo, we showed that. Richard Leggett, Gary Bernard, and Ronnie Hardy. And those are some local Chatham boys that were chosen to play in the Canada Games. Good on them. And those guys played lots of sports and did lots of stuff. Now Raj keeps... Oh, see that right where my finger is?
Yep.
That's a painting that Amanda did, Roger's daughter, of the local historian right here. And we got some Montreal Canadiens team photos. That right there we'll show at some point, but that's from the 1941 North Shore Regiment baseball team. And those are a bunch of local boys in England, and it's an amazing looking photo. We'll show you a close-up of that in a future episode.
So we have a front page article of a horrific car crash over in Lower Newcastle.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty well, right near Gordon's Wharf.
Okay.
And it happened right on the Russellville Road when the car stopped and made their entry onto the highway.
Oh yeah.
And eventually drove out too far and hit a tractor trailer head on.
Holy.
So there's a possibility that Jimmy might have took a turn or something like that for him, and all people perished eventually.
Oh wow.
So here's a picture of let's show the couple there.
Okay.
Him and his wife, Jimmy Hicks.
This couple right here were in a fatal car accident, 1974, June.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. James Hicks of Logieville both died in a highway crash last Friday afternoon. Mr. Hicks, 70, and his wife are seen here beside the home where they had lived for many years. That's a sad story. Is that Johnny, any relation to Johnny Hicks?
Oh yeah, that's his parents.
That's Johnny Hicks' parents.
That's the car crash.
Here's a photo right here. It says 4 persons die in head-on collision in Lower Newcastle. And look at the damage here, folks. This is from what did we say, 77? 74. Wow. Raj, your documentation.
Yeah, it's quite a mess.
It's quite a mess. It's 4 persons in an automobile were killed near Newcastle Friday afternoon when their vehicle was in collision with a tanker truck. Great big. The twisted wreckage of the passenger car is shown in top photo, while the damaged tanker is shown.
So the fifth person was Eddie McLean.
Yeah.
And they rushed him to the hospital, but 2 days later
he
passed away. So it took five lives.
Wow.
Just out for a ride, eh?
And we all kind of know somebody that was in a car accident at some point or another, and it's all of a sudden you can be listening to your favorite tune, and all of a sudden within a snap of the fingers, chaos.
Yeah. So that's what they meant with autopsies. That's why they take them, eh?
Yep.
Okay, before we get to that, we'll just do this here on the Pool Boys. I know it's a faded picture there. But,
okay.
The Carroll boys, the brothers here.
Okay.
And if you read that little
wow.
patch in there.
Okay, so we got some snooker winners, some Miramichi boys. Here at Mirami-histor-chi, we just try to, whatever Raj has, but if you guys have been watching, you'd notice that there's everything coming. We got pool and darts and girl guides and church dinners and suppers and everything else. Okay, so
no pole dancing yet.
No pole dancing yet. We got to get to. So speaking of dancing, okay, I'll read this. Okay, so this is from 1979. Snooker winners. A snooker tournament was held last weekend at the Hooper. Anybody that knows the Hooper? It was down in Chatham, near the grocery store, near the old Sabiesy. Currently, I don't even know the name of the new grocery store. Super Value, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, it had a caboose as the entrance. It was a cool place. In Chatham, left to right, David Watling presents trophies and money to the first place, Brian Parks. Second place, Danny Carroll. Third place winner is Jerry Butsy Carroll, probably brothers. Fourth place winner, Bill Holt, was absent when the photo was taken. He slept in that day, and he was like, you know what, I'm not going up to the freaking Hooper to get my picture taken. So anyway, so there it is. Right on, Raj. That's cool.
Okay, come across this article on the two Allison twins back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie and Donnie and Ronnie Allison. They were twin brothers. They were excellent athletes in high school and good ball players. They played ball in Logieville.
Yeah.
So Donnie turned in to do a series like David Butler and Paul. So this is his New Year's wishes here. I highlighted the ones that I want you to bring up there.
So he's a local guy doing a little.
Donnie Allison.
Just doing a little his own little section in the newspaper. Donnie Allison, and back in the day, there was banter going on. There was jokes. There was lots of fun happening. So Roger underlined some stuff here. Donnie Allison's New Year's wishes: a lip-sized clothespin for Brian Richard. A 30-goal season for Greg Malone, and he was probably correct because Greg Malone, I remember looking at his stats, he scored 35 one year, I think with the Penguins. A new Bricklin for Tricky Dicky Hatfield. A Bricklin, I don't know what that is.
It's a car.
Oh, a car.
Fancy car made in Canada.
Okay. A new bionic lip for Nick McKinnon. So who's Nick McKinnon?
he was the original husband of Pansy.
Okay.
McKinnon's across the river.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
A nose muff for Clary Hale. A second win for Wally JJ Jimmo. A public flop for Maggie Trudeau's new film. Oh, Donnie Allison was being heard on old Maggie Trudeau, eh?
Yeah.
A steel-toed boot for Pierre Trudeau when Maggie comes running home. Oh, so he was a Pierre fan, and he was saying, get out of the picture, Maggie. You're ruining this man's political career. A pair of pink ball spikes for Gary Bernard and Michael Daly. So, you know what, Raj? That's a great thing to pull out from 1977. It just shows you the difference of how the community was so close-knit. So when you have a community that can banter and joke with each other, it connects people. And that is kind of a lost art form in today's public sphere as well. People are being offended by everything. I was up at the gym today talking to a couple of young mothers about the way that, you know, ideological woke ideology is coming into society, and we had a long conversation about it. And you know, guys like us, we don't need a bunch of young people right now pointing fingers at us and telling us how to think and how to act. You know, most of us are really open-minded, cool people, and that stuff is dividing society, and most people are agreeing, trust me, the conversations I'm having. That's why we're doing this program. We're showing a positive angle on things, as opposed to everything being negative, seemingly, all the time.
Well, this is just a history article that none of us are aware of.
Yeah.
It's a ship here, and this local guy, you know, Joe Duffy, I believe his name is.
Joe Duffy?
Yeah, he was part of the crew of that boat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at that, beautiful. Look at that. That's like, the way that ships were built, it's true art. Look at the beauty of that thing, and you're just seeing that sail across the water. Isn't that a gorgeous sight? And we had a local guy that was a member of that crew. His name was Joseph Duffy. I'll read it really quickly here. This is the Avon Queen as she looked in 1935. This four-masted schooner was captained by R.A. McLean of Chatham with a crew of 8. The Avon Queen battled storms, reefs, and the Brooklyn Bridge. I'm sure that's a story unto itself. In 1937, the ship was lost at sea off the U.S. coast. It was on its way back from Turk's Island in the West Indies to St. John when the ship floundered. An American destroyer had to sink the vessel because it posed a navigational hazard. And we had, it was captained by a Chatham guy. Wow. And this Joseph Duffy guy, he was a cabin boy aboard the Queen at 21 years of age. He was engaged to do duties that consisted of deck work, lookout, and the steering the ship. Wow. And you know what? In the last couple of years, I just read Moby Dick. The most difficult book I've ever read in my life. It's just an epic sea story. And there it is, folks.
Yeah, there's more story on the write-up that went with it.
Oh, wow.
So I want to give credit here to the local papers in Moncton.
Yeah.
And when the Moncton Hawks first arrived, they set up shop in Moncton.
Yeah.
And they were a firm team for Toronto and Chicago combined.
Okay, because then they switched over to Winnipeg.
Oh yeah, they made.
I remember.
Things got away, and it's just.
Okay.
It's just like.
Okay.
Showing all the players, it's just page after page.
Well, at first I'll show the. So the Moncton Hawks AHL team. Affiliate, Raj says Chicago and Toronto to start with. I do remember they went to Winnipeg later, and it was called the New Brunswick. Oh, they were. New Brunswick Hawks were Fredericton, weren't they? Or were they Moncton?
Oh, Fredericton was different.
Right. Okay. So that is presenting New Brunswick Hawks. That's 78-79. Inside. Okay, so some players that played for that team were, of note, Joel Quenneville went on to coach, I think, 3 Stanley Cup. He was the coach of those Blackhawks Stanley Cups. Anybody know Eddie Johnson? He was a goaltender. He was Team USA coach. He was the coach of the team. I'm looking for...
Okay, I want you to... Okay. I had this here put in here for a reason.
Okay.
So tell us the story.
Okay. So Raj has this photo in here. This is, I think Carl Brewer was an old Leaf defenseman, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
So the old days, former National Hockey League defenseman Carl Brewer looks at picture of himself back in the early 70s after arriving in Moncton last night. Brewer, attempting a comeback with the Leafs, will work out with the New Brunswick Hawks here for 2 weeks to see if he feels he can make it. And my guess is that he said, okay, I'm going back home. I'm not going to make this. Or did he make it?
Well, yeah, but he's an all-star.
That's an all-star. You know, that's a great story.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try to show one more name that we would all recognize as hockey fans. Mike O'Connell was a defenseman. I remember him.
Neely, is it? Is that Bob Neely here?
Or Bob Neely, but I don't know him. Oh, I got it. I got it. I just found this guy. Okay, that guy, I'm going close up. That is Bruce Boudreau, folks.
Yeah.
Bruce Boudreau was the coach of the Washington Capitals, Vancouver Canucks. Very, very animated guy. But if you go to Bruce Boudreau's hockey DB page and look at his stats, he was a high-scoring centerman for many years in the AHL mostly. So right on, Raj. That is very, very cool. And once again, our local historian just has the knack of what to keep. And this is all on this this is all on the AHL team.
Yeah. And there's our coach.
Yeah,
here.
Eddie Johnson. Eddie Johnson went on to a long career as a coach in the NHL. And he was involved with many, many teams over the years. I don't know his full story, and I can't really give it to you. But, well, really cool, Raj.
Okay, we'll go back to local stuff now.
Back to some local stuff, okay.
Okay, we'll start with that one there.
And once again, look at the condition of this. It is mint condition because of those little trays. I think we call them trays with covers that Roger made out of sheet metal.
Newspaper trays?
Newspaper trays. Okay, anybody that's in the Miramichi that knows their sports, and not only sports, there is a great photo of the outstanding athletes from 1977, Chatham Junior High School. And we got Pam Barrett. She was named Female Athlete of the Year. And that guy right there, beside Pam Barrett, that young, humble, handsome guy is Jimmy Malone. Jim's the brother of Greg. He's the father of NHLer Brad Malone. The uncle of NHLer Greg Malone. His other son, Brent Malone, went on to play some high-level hockey. And Jimmy went on to play high-level hockey himself. Jimmy was my coach personally when I was in grade 6 playing Atom hockey, and I'll tell you what, Raj, he couldn't have done it better.
Yeah.
He treated us like kids. We had fun. He was amazing, and I always will have respect for him for that. And he married a Logieville girl named Vicki McDonald, daughter of Junior, and Vicki is a great woman, and I saw her at my dad's recent funeral reception ceremony.
Yeah. There's another local lad.
Okay, we have an announcement, folks, from the local paper in 1977, July 6th. This is July 6th. I'm looking at the photo, and I'm guessing that is Mike Bowes. The law firm of Martin, Lorden, and McKenna are pleased to announce that Michael Bowes has joined their firm at their Chatham office. Mr. Bowes received his Bachelor of Laws degree in 77, convocation exercises at UNB. He was born in Chatham and was educated at St. Lawrence College, Quebec City, McGill University of Montreal, and UNB. He is married to the former Mary Morris of Chatham, and they reside with their daughter, Sarah, at 24, I won't name the street, but they have Kevin, Sarah, and David. I think that's their 3 children, and I'm sorry if I'm missing any more. Kevin's the vice principal up at James and Hill right now. He is a fine gentleman in our community. He is involved with baseball, hockey, and is an excellent guy.
This lad found his job very satisfying.
once again, folks, the local historian, Roger Cummo. And I just saw this photo, and I was like, okay, that's an old friend of mine from high school / university, and that's her dad. And I heard that she moved back here, Tara, former Tara DePlacy. I don't know what her name is right now, but her and her husband live in Chatham right now. And I haven't run into her yet since I've been home, and I'd like to say hello. Bubs DePlacy poses beside a Chatham fire truck, a vehicle he has often ridden with fellow firefighters to rush to fires and put them out. Bubs said the problems and rewards of his job are things that are all firefighters experience. And there's a great photo, folks, and once again, a local paper has to cover everybody. It takes all kinds to create a successful and healthy community, and firefighters are definitely a massive part of that. Okay, we'll just do it like a headline here. June 8th, 1977. We have a $15 million construction project for the Miramichi. 240 jobs are created. The site is announced. What do you guys think it is? It is the penitentiary announced for renews. There is that's the paper, mint condition once again, 1977. The prison site announced. Maurice Dion, Northumberland, Miramichi MP, left, and Francis Fox. He was the Solicitor General. They announced yesterday that Renews has been chosen by the Canadian Penitentiary Service as the site for a new maximum security prison. And then in the 80s, early 90s, late 80s, Uncle Raj and his cronies around Logieville formulated a ball team. Kevin McCormick was kind of the architect, and Dad, actually. They're the ones who kind of got the bodies together. Yeah. And it was, you know, guys in their 30s, 40s that kind of stopped playing ball. They got together, a little town league stuff. I played as a kid. I was pitching at 16 and 17 with these guys. And a couple of trips, they would get in Kevin McCormick, McCormick Dental over in Newcastle, if you want a new pair of dentures, new set of dentures, sorry. But he spends most of his winters in Florida. Yeah. Kevin's awesome, but Kevin had a little Winnebago thing. It had a W on the side. We call it the Wally Wagon, and he would get everybody in there, the whole ball team, and drive over to the penitentiary a couple of times a year to play games against the prisoners. And I remember, I wasn't there. Did you ever make one of those trips?
I don't think.
Yeah, Dad said.
I just went down to Dorchester.
Dorchester to play ball?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. So I remember, I didn't make the trip. Raj says he didn't make the trip. We could bullshit just right now and just tell a good old Miramichi yarn and say that we were there and hit home runs at the prison, but we're not those kind of guys.
Yeah, when we went to Dorchester, Earl Lewis was there at the time, and he'd get a set up for us to come.
Oh, right on. Yeah. I think Earl was in Renews when Kevin and them went, because I remember Dad saying.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, just two little articles here. It might be interesting to show.
Okay.
All
air show.
What we missed from the air base, not having these things around, and we should get a little update. Oh, we have a young lad here, Wayne Carter. He was a rising young kid there.
Okay, for what?
Popularity for singing. I think he's supposed to make a television appearance.
Okay. So Raj is showing, this is from 77, June 8th, and you know, we have a tradition of having an Air Force Base, CFB Chatham, and there's some photos. Like, I'm not what you would call an expert in, aircrafts, but it's amazing what was going on at our base here, and it brought in people from all over the world and all over Canada that worked here. We have, and then this young guy right down there in the same article, his name was Wayne Carter, and it says Wayne Carter Wayne Carter to appear on national television. Wayne Carter, one of Chatham's own, will be appearing on Marg Osborne's That Maritime Feeling at 11:30 this Friday night on Channel 6. And he's 15 years old. He was in grade 9, and he was he was a singer, and he was doing an impression of Elton John. I wonder what the world has. I wonder what Wayne Carter's path was if he went on to do some more performing arts. But that's pretty cool.
never heard too much about them after that.
No, right on, Raj. That's excellent.
Vince Moore had them on the Sanatoria Club there for a variety show there, and introduced them to the people.
Which brings me back to the Sanatorium Club. You said you were involved with that. And so you guys would go into...
That's going to be
another episode? Okay, okay. Here's an ad from 1977. Roofing, free estimates, residential, commercial, new roofs, re-roofs, repairs, flat roofing, sheet metal work. Phone 773-3977. And that is Mel Westcott, roofing contractor, Black River Bridge, 30 years experience. Well, I'm sure Mel did not have to go back and repair any leaks just by the sound of that ad. It sounded like he knew what he was doing.
So you want to bring this up here with the tournament?
Oh, yeah, okay. This was a tournament, looks like a hockey tournament, and it was from 1971, and it said the fourth tourney slated for the weekend. And here are some names from the Chatham teams. Baname, Gary Bernard, Mike Hawks, Dwayne Creamer, Larry Creamer, Francis Dixon, Roger Blanchard, Scott Hickey, Kevin Hilchey, Greg Malone, Daryl Matthews, Jerry McDonald, Walter McCarthy, Sandy Porter, Claude Power, David Rogers, Lyle Wood. You sounded like they had a good operation there.
Yeah.
And the B side, the Bantam B team that year was Ricky Allison, Jerry Bowes, Barry Brennan, Perry Cummo of Nappen, Gerald Cook, Mike Power, Michael DePlacy, Danny Flanagan, Terry Flanagan, Michael Grange, John Grondon, I don't know if that's a misspell. Grondon. Yeah. Frank McDonald, Neil Palmer, Bev Stymus, Mikey Traer, Freddie Walls. And the Pee Wee team was Joe Brennan, Elkin Cook, Mike Creamer, Gary Fraser, Ted Giannette, Barry Hay, Harold Hay, Jeff Hickey, David LaCour, Randy Watling, Cameron McCarter, Billy Jobs, Joe Hawks, Paul McKendrick, Kelly Noble, and Greg Scott.
I think that's the year they invited up the team from Stoneham. I think.
Okay.
Maybe
Stoneham. Where's Stoneham? Oh, that's in the States?
I think. Sounded like it was at the time.
Right on.
Yeah.
But here, this is interesting because they have a schedule. They just had the teams listed right there. And then they had a schedule of the events. This is a 1971 tourney. And it had like Thursday, boys arrive at the rec center from refreshments and will be escorted. This is in the paper. Would be escorted to home. So there was billeting going on. 9:30, the reception for adults. I remember being a part of a tournament back in the 80s. And there was all these receptions. And it was like a big event. Friday, it just shows opening ceremonies, and then it gives the schedule of games. Oh, this was a team coming. Oh, there was 3 teams coming up from the States.
Yeah.
3 teams from here. Okay, it was just two operations happening there. It wasn't like a real tournament. And then it said the Stoneham Pee-wees will host a dance, sock hop for all Pee-wee players from both teams, plus Chatham girls in capital letters. This is, parents will be advised as to what is taking place in and around Chatham. Saturday, more games. And then Sunday, it said early morning mass at St. Michael's departure. So they gave a whole schedule. There was a big dance. That would have been fun to be involved with, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll just make a little note of this.
Okay, so June 8th, 1977. Raj and I, we like our pop culture. We like our movies and all that stuff. And that's Chris Christopherson and Barbra Streisand from the 1977 version of A Star Is Born. I'm a big Chris Christopherson fan. He's an unbelievable writer, actor. He used to be a helicopter pilot, a Rhodes Scholar. And you know how he actually got his name in there? He took a helicopter, flew it into Johnny Cash's ranch, landed it, and walked up and gave him lyrics to a song. And Johnny said, well, I had to read them. And that's a true story. Yeah. And that's Barbra Streisand. And I tell you what, the remake was, 5-7 years ago, Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, which is a really well-done film as well. And it's funny because this was not the original. This was also a remake of another one, which I don't know much about. But to be honest with you, Barbra Streisand, back in those 70s, I am a huge fan. I just think she was absolutely... gorgeous. Like, she had her own thing going on, and it was just, you can't take your eyes off her. Very special performer.
So you want something to do with
I was just, this is just a classified ads from 1976. That's actually the year I was born. This is a Miramichi paper, 1976. I just thought it'd be interesting to read a couple of things. They have, guy says wanted to buy ocean or riverfront property. Well, who doesn't? The cottage in Quarryville, there was a for sale. There's some 1973 650 Yamaha, and it was just people put their phone number. There's no prices in here. For sale, a Hoover washer, spin dryer, and one 8-track stereo recorder, AM, FM multiplex system, and it's just people's phone numbers. There's no names, there's no prices, and it's just a phone number. And now we're doing things online, so it's just interesting to show how it was done back there. And those of you Miramichiers will remember the Trading Post. We used to do it on every day on the radio. People would call in, or people would say, I have a snowblower for sale, doesn't work too bad, it needs a new carburetor there, but you can get her fixed no problem, and it still works. And I remember my friend, we were, I just thought this. My friend Andy called in one time, like to the Trade Post, we'd all be listening, and he's like, I got some work gloves for sale there, that's 2 of them for $10 and 1 for $5. Pair of work gloves. So people would call in joking all the time, and it was, like I say, it was a different world.
Yeah. We're good to keep going?
Yeah, well, we're up to, this is part 2. We got a little bit of time left. What do you got?
Well, it's just a pretty good page here on the Hooper.
Okay.
And the early signs of the old station in Chatham there.
Okay. Raj got a phone call. I'll pause it right here and let him handle it. I got to use the washroom anyway. We're coming back. We're going to wrap this up soon.
Okay, so this one over here.
Yeah.
This is the Queen of the Fair. It's the Miss Miramichi contest, and a nice aerial view of the exhibition building.
Okay.
And the racetrack.
Oh, right on.
The exhibition is usually
right.
The grounds, eh? Okay. I don't think there's anything
inside.
Yeah.
Oh, I just pressed record.
Eh?
So we're on right now.
Well,
while Roger's looking through that, it's a good time to take a word out for our sponsor here, folks. So, today we have a product from Wishworks, which the craftsman comes by the name of Corey Wishart. Wishworks, now, this right here is a knife that Corey Wishart crafted. Everything on this knife is handmade by him. The handle and the metal. He's doing his own metal work over. It's right next door to Raj here. It's an unbelievable amount of work that this guy has done. So that's just a knife that's homemade by Corey. The case is all his own leather work, and Corey's the type of craftsman that just figures it out. He learns how to do things on the spot. Wishworks at the core store. So if you're looking to get a knife, we showed a lunchbox yesterday. We showed a leather case for a laptop the day before. And you're looking to try to find Corey Wishart and websites and stuff. Well, that stuff doesn't exist. If you're looking to find Corey Wishart, all you gotta do is just plunk yourself anywhere in the Miramichi and the surrounding area, and just the first person you see next to you, you just say, do you know Corey Wishart? And somebody is gonna know him. And if you're wondering how a guy like Corey Wishart sponsors a high-rolling show like this, well, all you have to do, the answer to that question is that he just does it by being the best brother-in-law a person could ever ask for. And our other sponsor, Roger's daughter, Amanda Cummo, will be showing some of her works in the future. Okay, so we have, well, I'll just show a quick thing of the Hooper. So in Chatham, down on Water Street, there used to be a bar. It burned down a few years ago, but these are some old photos. It was called the Hooper. That's the original, and it used to be an old train station down there, and that's the building as I remembered it. It had a caboose that you'd walk into, And there's some old photographs. This is from a 70s issue, but they're just showing old photographs from wartime, people arriving and going into war. So the Hooper has a place in Miramichi history for sure. And then one of the ball teams in Logieville, they were called the Hoopers, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, and that was
Ladies,
the sponsor,
yeah.
The ladies team, Wendy Daly,
Yeah.
Hall of Fame pitcher. Raj has a paper here from the 1971 issue of, this is actually from the Moncton Times,
Yep.
and it is showcasing the Miramichi Agricultural Exhibition. And I'm one of those kids that when I thought about the exhibition, I thought about going to see people and friends and getting on rides. I actually was a person that really didn't take serious the agricultural part of it, and going in and seeing the animals, looking at that sort of the side of things, and I missed that whole, I just missed the whole thing.
Well, people, you probably downsized while you were younger.
Yes.
When we were kids, that was really awesome.
That was what
all
to go,
the vegetation they had in the display, and the animals, and
sure.
all kinds of animals, and
Sure.
because just to go through all those pens to see all that.
And then it's sometimes like those are the unsung here, like the unsung people in our communities. Like those are the people that are producing food. They're connected with the earth. They're working with animals. They're very intelligent and wise people, and they know what a physical reality is. If their tractor breaks down, they know how to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's an aerial shot of the Miramichi Agricultural Exhibition in 1971. There's the track that used to race. That's an aerial shot there. That's a really good shot. And the Queen of Fair to be chosen. So these are the 1971 Miss Miramichi contestants. Look at all these gorgeous, gorgeous young women from the Miramichi back in 1971 that I'm sure have all gone on to do wonderful things with their lives. Okay, so we have Annette Brown. She was from Boys Town. Linda Brunet was from Nordine. Carol Chesson was a Bay St. Anner. Ann Dawson from McKinleyville. Sheila Forn from Newcastle. Caroline Lampke from Black River Bridge. Laurie Osborne from Curtis Park. Mary Lou Richard from Chatham. Jacqueline Thibodeau from Covedale. Kathy Walls from Blackville. And Rhoda Walsh from Whitneyville. And Roger remembers this, and you say Miss Kathy Walls was the winner?
Yeah.
And we think this woman right here, this young woman right here, Kathy Walls from Blackville, took home the crown, Miss Miramichi 1971. And what do you do when you win a crown in 1971 on the Miramichi? You're walking around. Do you wear your crown the next day? Do you kind of wake up and say, I'm going to wear the crown for a day? I don't know.
No.
Are we going to go through this? We kind of are.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
It's just like the
We
whole,
show that.
the whole program.
The whole program, Roger says, is... Oh, yeah, that's
shows-
beautiful, too.
Shows some
Oh, wow.
action at the ground.
Okay, so this is the whole paper, mint condition. Roger has restored it. This is the agricultural exhibition, which turned into, in later years, Ferris wheel. Well, Ferris wheel's always been around. That's a classic.
Oh, yeah.
But, the Gravitron and the Tilt-A-Whirl and bumper cars and cotton candy and all that stuff. Flowers, cartoonist at work, John and Byron Sweezy work on Fair Boost, fun at the merry-go-round, horse hauling competition. Beautiful.
Well, that's an area view of the...
Yeah, that's some CFE stuff.
Okay.
Okay, that's good, Raj. Thank you very much. Amazing. 1971, the Moncton Times, mint condition. The local historian, Roger Como, knows how to collect and knows how to keep his stuff in order. Do you have all this stuff too?
No, that's just...
That's pretty good.
Stuff we're not going to bother with.
Okay, so we have done 2 episodes from the 70s. Really well done. And if anybody out there is actually watching this, I hope that you take this a little bit serious, okay? So I'm living in Vancouver personally. Jamie. My name is Jamie Como. I am actually looking for a studio space here in the Miramichi. I do some woodworking. I do sculpture projects. I have a mentoring program in Vancouver. I have young people coming in that are having a little bit of a disconnection with some things in their lives. We do projects together, and I am not finding it the easiest. I've been looking around, and I'm striking out. So if anybody out there knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that has like maybe an old barn that their grandmother has and it's not being used, I like to resurrect old buildings to make them new. I bring a driftwood element with some shapes, curves, lines into play. And my website is down right now, but if you're watching these videos, you can probably just scroll down on my channel and just maybe check out, I did a sculpture project on there. I did a great big baseball glove trophy you'll be able to easily find and see what I'm all about. And maybe you can help me find a space to start a Miramichi studio as I kind of go back and forth between the Miramichi after my dad has passed away and Vancouver. Raj, once again, can't say thanks enough. This has been another excellent episode of Mirami-histor-chi, and we'll come at you guys maybe tomorrow. I don't know, Raj, you around tomorrow?
Yeah.
You're on dog duty tomorrow. We might yank out another, what are we calling them again? Tray. Another tray from whatever era. We'll see what happens. See you later.